Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today, and I hope you guys are all doing good. My name is Sadia and I'm from beautiful British Columbia, Canada. If this is your first time watching this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, and press the bell icon to receive more videos. In my channel, I will share my knowledge and experience about medicinal herbs, plants, fruits, vegetables, and spices for educational purpose only. Also, in this channel, once a week, I will share with you guys some of the traditional cooking and baking and some of my own delicious recipes. For the first time, I wanna add something extra in this channel for the month of or for this cold season, that it shows how to crochet or knit at home. So, with the will and name of our God, let's start today's video. In this video today, I am going to cook with you guys the Afghani famous traditional Qaabili Palau at home. This dish is a very popular dish in Afghan households, and they always have this one when they are getting together or big celebrations or for their guests at home. To make a Qaabili Palau at home, we must have these ingredients handy. We need to have a long basmati rice. It's a very special rice, and that's really important to have a good rice when you make a Qaabili Palau. You need to have a red lamb or beef meat. If you cannot have the red meat, you can have a chicken, but traditional way is lamb or beef. You need some nuts like pistachio, almonds, and walnuts. And of course, you must have carrots and raisins to make this fabulous, famous, traditional dish at home. And we are going to go through the steps one by one. And the good news is you can make some of these ingredients one day before. Let's start with the raisin. Please make sure you have the red dark raisin, not the yellow raisin. A Qaabili Palau needs to have this kind of raisin. I think in Canada we call it sultana raisin, or there is a different brands, but make sure they are red. Doesn't matter how clean they look. Once when you get the raisins, make sure you wash it completely so many times till you see that your water is clear. The best way is, if you don't want to break the raisin, to wash it with a cold water. Wrap it like the way I'm doing it right now, and keep changing the water till you see all the water is clear. And once when it happens, so you're going to let it rest just for maybe half an hour, not more than that. And after when half an hour is over, see this one, the water is really nice and clean. Then I put a towel, completely clean towel, somewhere on the tray or your table, kitchen table. Then you put the raisin on it and let it get a little bit dry and soak all the water from it. The other one, the second one, is our nuts. That is pistachio, almond, or walnut. Make sure, same thing, you wash them completely good. Then after when they are washed and clean, soak them with the boiled water for the time, at least maybe half an hour. It depends how long. The other thing that you need to make ready is your carrots. This is the thing that it takes a little bit time to make it. If you are deciding to do it something like this by hand, here the way I'm slicing it, you must do it like this. I love to make it a longer one, and also make sure if you can go completely equal cuts, but at least they are similar to each other. If there is a small pieces of carrots, please take it out. And usually the both side of the carrots is not going to give you a good cut, so I always put them away and cook them in something else. There's another way. Here is this way. I'm cutting it by knife. If most of people, they do that. And if you don't have it, the slicer that I'm gonna show you just in a couple of seconds. But here I'm showing you just how to cut it, then wash it completely. Make sure all the yellow water from the carrots is gonna go. Then you're gonna soak it for a few more minutes, maybe half an hour inside the cold water. Then after that, please remove it from the cold water. Make sure for all of these things, when you wash it, use the cold water. There's another one ways which I always use that. I bought this one. It's not very pricey. Maximum is $7 for the slicer, and it makes your job so easy, and it gives you the beautiful cut for carrots. And I really recommend it for the countries that they can have access to this. Buy this one. It makes your life very easy when you make a Qaabili Palau. So here I'm showing you guys how fast was I did slice one or two of the carrots right away. And here I'm gonna show you, and look at the different. Yes, you can make those ones also tiny or thin, but look at this one is so nice. And you can choose the length, how long you want the carrots. And after the same thing, when you finish with all of this, as you can see here, believe me, I sliced these carrots like the whole tray for at least less than 10 minutes. And imagine if you do that, it's gonna take lots of time. Same thing, like I said, wash it completely. And I put this one in a tray for you guys to see when you're washing it. Look at the water. You're gonna keep wash it like a raisin and walnuts and almonds. You keep washing it till you see your water is clear, and soak it for a few minutes in the water. Then take it out from the water. The way I did it, put them in a tray somewhere, and it's gonna stay like this. Now what we are doing is the almonds and also walnut or pistachio if you want to choose. I could not find pistachio, so I had only walnut and almonds. Some people, they just put almonds and pistachio. Nuts are very important if you want to make a real traditional Qaabili Palau. So here the hot water helped me, and I peeled all of it and I kept them in a cold water. Same thing I'm going to do with a walnut. Almond was easy to peel it, but walnut is a little bit difficult. It takes time, but it's possible. So same thing, I peel the skin of walnut from it, because I don't want to put brown walnut. See the difference here? This was with no skin, and that's with a skin. So I put them on the side, soak them in a cold water, because I don't want them to change the water. You're wondering what I'm doing here. Here I'm making this some of the gravy ready for my to marinate my meat, and it's still uncooked meat. And what I did, I put like at least 3 full tablespoons of yogurt in a bowl, and I'm here peeling the onion and a few garlic. It depends on how much meat you have, and this is just a small onion I use. And with the 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, wash them all with a food processor. Completely make it what they call it, mushy. Then when it's done, you can add that one to your yogurt that you have it in a bowl. Not only I'm adding the mix of garlic and onion, and also in this case fresh ginger. I didn't have a fresh ginger at home ready, so I used the dry ginger, which you're gonna see in a couple of seconds. And here I brought a close up the dish, so I want to show you guys what I do. For all of them, I'm using the teaspoon, so just easy to make it. We had a 3 tablespoons of yogurt. We had one a small to medium size onion, and we had a few cloves. 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon of cumin, we call it zira powder, and I used 1 to 1.5 teaspoon of ginger. Also, I used black pepper, 1 teaspoon of black pepper here, and at the same time I add 1 a teaspoon of rosemary. Rosemary is very important if you have it at home. If you don't, it's okay. Your garam masala or other spices will do the job, but rosemary is really nice to do it because it will gonna get rid of the smell of the meat, especially some lambs. They have some kind of a smell, and it will gonna really help to get rid of all these spices that I add will help you guys to get rid of or remove the smell of the lamb, especially, or the fresh meat. Wash the meat completely, and if it's a chunk of meat, cut them in at the way I cut it. And make sure that if there is a big lamb like this here, I'm chopping it and opening it a little bit, not cutting it all the way to the end. Another important things I want to make sure mention this here. When you're buying a meat for Qaabili Palau, make sure that meat has the fat. It's really important to have the fat. Either it's you're gonna cook it or you're gonna roast it. Fat is gonna make the meat very delicious. So don't buy the dry, completely dry, 100% red meat. Make sure there is a fat in the meat, like when we roast it. So here, after I wash the meat completely, I cut where the necessary stuff, space, like the meat that it was really important to cut it or slice it. Not cut it all the way, and I dry it with a clean paper towel. It's not completely dry, you know, meat has a water, but I dry it because I don't want too much water to be here to wash my gravy. So the gravy I make ready, it's a mixture of the yogurt and all the spices. I am adding it all inside the meat first. Make sure all the layers that we slice, it goes there. Look, imagine if you have black pepper, garlic, cumin, garam masala, salt, ginger, and rosemary. Even if you want, you can add oregano. But if you don't have that, please don't worry about that. Whatever you have at home, especially these are items that I'm giving you because they are giving a very good smell to your meat. And I poke it with a knife still a little bit. The reason I'm doing it to get let the gravy or the mixture go inside the meat a little bit, and after, when you're done, you can roll very carefully. You can roll the meat together. One more thing, actually, I forgot here is you can add a 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil in that mixture, and I forgot to do it, so I just put them separately. You don't need to do that. You can add them with your mixture that you made. So here I am rolling the meat back the way it was before, and here, because we are using our hands, make sure your hands are completely washed with a soap and warm water for a few 30 to more than 30 seconds, because you're dealing with meat. Or you can wear gloves. I am always cooking without the gloves, but I always make sure I wash my hand. With something that you have available, put the meat back together. And here we already, if you remember at the beginning, I did make some pokes on top of the skin. And the reason I did that, because when I am going to put a spice on top of it, I want to make sure, or this mixture or the gravy, I want to make sure it go inside the meat, not outside. So if you are still not sure that it went, so what I do, I grab the knife and I make sure I fill all those cuts with the gravies that still we have here. And after, when everything is done, I put them in a dish, wrap it with a saran wrap, a plastic wrap. Then we are gonna leave it overnight in the fridge. So these are all the steps I did. I did them one day before I make my rice. So it's not a lots of work. If you want to do it in one day, go ahead, do it. But if you marinate your meat more than 8 hours, it will gonna give you very tasty flavor. So I always, to be honest, I always do this a day before. Put everything, my carrots, a raisin, and all of them, and the meat. And after, when I put the meat in the fridge, and now it's up to you that you're gonna saute your carrots and raisin the same day, or you can do it this day before. It's completely up to you. For me, up to this point, I am done for the day, and I'm gonna start making my other ingredients or other part of the Qaabili Palau the next day. And here we are after resting the meat in the fridge overnight, and we are the next day, and I'm wrapping my meat in a saran wrap. Here I'm going to show you guys how to do it. This is step number one for cooking the rice the next day, is to making the meat ready, because meat is going to take longer. Some people, they are cooking it in the pressure cooker, which is okay, but I'm doing it like this because this way you don't lose the flavor in with the steam or with water. And the way you saw I'm wrapping it, I wrap the saran wrap upward because I don't want the juice to go out. And at the same time, I don't want the bottom to be burned. So in my pan, I put a glass of water. Leave it for at least 3 to 4 hours. The beginning I did 1.5 hours. Later on I increase it, but totally gonna do the for this temperature to 2 to 3 hours, and go do whatever you want to do, and let it just only make sure you check that your oven is on. So while that is roasting inside the oven, we are going to make our top ready. This is the topping of our Qaabili Palau. Very important that we're gonna saute our carrots, raisin, and nuts on the real with the good oil or real oil. And here I use ghee, which is it's a homemade ghee. I make my own from the butter, and I always, for my cooking, I use that. I used the almost it was 2 full tablespoons, which is almost like a regular 3 tablespoons of ghee I used. And now I am sauteing my carrots, which I kept them overnight because I made them the day before ready, and from in the fridge without the water. I'm adding it, but I do add while I'm sauteing it, I do add some fresh water in it. And here's less than half a cup of water I add there. And not only I'm adding water, to keep this color like this, I add 3 to 4 teaspoons of regular sugar. And for the nicest smell and flavor, I am adding this one is like a half a teaspoon, like 1 full teaspoon of cardamom. Now you're gonna keep mixing it. Do not stop. Don't let it settle, because what will happen, the bottom will gonna burn, or it will gonna change the color. So if you want to have all the carrots to be in the same color, please keep changing it the way I'm doing it. Do not break it and bring it from the sides to the middle. Grab it from the side to the middle, up, lift them and put them upside down. The carrots only, by the way. So we keep doing it till we're gonna hold the carrots and or taste it and see if it's a little bit tender. We don't want to cook it completely. We want to make it not it shouldn't be not raw, not overcooked. It should be tender. When you're eating it, it's very comfortable to eat it, or tasty. So here I'm continuing. Remember, one thing is, when you are making a Qaabili Palau, there's 2 ways to make it. One is the real traditional way, that for many years, the beginning when the Qaabili Palau came, they made it. Or there's another way, it's our way. You go anywhere, everybody is making Qaabili Palau in a different ways, which is their way, which is okay. It's still tasty, very tasty. But the way I'm showing you guys here, it's not my way. It is something I learned before from people's, like many years ago, and it's working really good. And this is like traditional ways. And so, as you can see, I don't add. Look at the amount of carrots we had. This pan was full, but now look how low it's become. So that means now our carrots is getting close to ready. So most of it's not fried, it is not watery. It's a good amount of oil. It's a good amount of what they call it, water. If you're wondering how many carrots was in here, I use actually I keep some of them in my freezer, so I use like 10 carrots. Depends. When you're adding a water, make sure you are also don't add too much. Like you see, for all these carrots, I add only less than half a cup. Now the oil is there, but I'm separating the carrots from the pan. Very careful, slowly, I'm gonna separate all the carrots without the oil from the pan, and I put it on the side and see what I'm gonna do next here. There we go. I'm adding my nuts here, walnuts, pistachios, almonds. In my case here, there's no pistachio, but the carrots, the walnut and almonds, I'm sauteing it, the same oil. This oil had a little bit of sugar, this oil had a little bit of cardamom, and look at the color of this. They don't break, they are not raw, and they are not overcooked. They are perfect flavor and perfect tenderness in it. So we're gonna do the same thing with this. Sauteed it because it was already soaked in the water and it's a little bit soft. It's now not very hard nuts. It's very tender, like a carrots. When you eat it, it should be like, there should be a difference between cooked nuts or almonds and walnut than the raw ones, the one that we always eat at home. But here, after a few minutes, just eat one of it and see how you feel. And it should be different, like I said, from the raw. Then you're gonna take this one out and you put them on top of that. You can use same dish, you can use a different dish. I use the same dish. I put all of them together. My oil is still there. And the last one that I'm going to saute here is my raisin. Remember, we wash the raisin, we soak them in the water a little bit. It's already a little bit softer than what we bought at the beginning. So we don't need to saute it for hours, 2 hours. I think all I did here, it was 10 minutes was for the carrots, around 5 minutes was for the nuts, and there's a 5 minutes I mixed the or sauteed the raisins. As you can see, I don't stop. I keep mixing them together. You do have a choice to add all of this in one pot or one dish or whatever, bowls or whatever you have, and or you can keep them separate. But what I do here, as soon my raisin is ready, I turn off my stove and I let the raisin to get dry, cold completely. And once when it gets a little bit, just a little bit, is still warm, but it's not boiled hot. Then I add my carrots and raisin, and slowly I mix it, and still the raisin is at the top. I don't recommend to put the raisin on top of the carrots. Remember that, it's very important. Once that's done, just put them on the side. Okay, we did 2 parts. Now here is our roast beef is almost ready. Roast lamb in this case, it's almost ready. It's in the oven. I brought my temperature to 375, and here the rice that I had, I soaked it overnight, or you can soak the rice at least 2 to 3 hours before you cook it. And as soon you did that, I boiled my rice with the black pepper, with the bay leaves, some of the dills, and cumins. So you boil it, and also I color my rice water with the molasses, and that one is with no sugar molasses. You can make the same at home, but if you want to avoid all the smell and the smokes, you can buy it from outside, and they call this molasses, and you always find it in cooking and baking oil aisles in the supermarkets. If you're wondering that when the rice, we know the rice is ready, is when you put the soaked rice, drain the water and put the rice only in a boiled water that is already boiling on top of your stove. Then keep it there, watch when it start boiled again, because when you put the rice in the water for a while, even the boiled water will stop boiling. And once when start boiling the water with the rice in it, you can, it depends on the rice actually, but I always let it boil for another 2 minutes, and I keep checking the rice and make sure it's a tender, and I will press one rice at my finger together, and it shouldn't break. But when you put them in your mouth, it's a little bit cooked and tender before the raw ones, and after that, you know it's done, and you drain the water. And here, what I did, I drained the water. I put back the rice in the pot. I add garam masala. This one was 4 cups of rice I soaked and I boiled. For that, I used 2 tablespoons of garam masala, and I had some what they call the leftover soups from my beef I cooked a day before. I add to the rice. I add a little bit oil in it, and also some salt inside that soup. And after that, we're gonna cover the rice. Let it steam like this. As soon you notice the steam is coming out from the side of the pot, that means the water or the soup that you add in the rice is getting dry. So what I do in that stage, I listen to if there's a little bit noise of crack noise, like a popcorn noise. If you can't hear that, it's okay. As soon you see the steam is getting like this hot, I turn it off. I turn my stove off and I let it settle like this. And here you saw the tops, and now let's see the roast beef, how we are doing with it. Did you see that the juice still is there? And what I do, I just back close it and I let it boil. If some of the juices when you open it running out to the pan, it's okay, that's not a problem. At least we roast or we cook the whole meat inside that juice, so that's important. And like I said, we did change the temperature to 375, and we kept it after that for at least when the color is like this, it's brown, or you're gonna check it if it's cooked. But I keep it, because I do this a lot, so I always just keep it till I see the color is brown. And as you can see, look at that, still I have some juice in there, so that means all the flavor should be in the meat, inside the meat. So we are our rice is ready, our topping is ready, the roast beef is ready. Let's take the food out and put them in your favorite plates that you have. Look at this. Oh, I wish you guys were in this kitchen. The smell is so good. And I really don't want the meat to be like a dry looking color or a brownish light brown color. So what I did, I put back the roast beef inside, the roast lamb, sorry, back inside, and I turned the top of the oven on just for 5 minutes, the highest one. Let it get brown, because the skin outside was already brown but inside was a little bit reddish. So what I did, I turned the temperature on high, and you can put it on a hair fryer, or you can put them in a stove back and put the top heat on. Let it for 5 minutes, and after that, look at your rice. Rice is ready. I turn off the stove, I turn off the oven, and look at, you can see still the cardamom, the black pepper, the bay leaves inside the rice, and those are gonna give your rice a very good flavor. Make sure your rice are not sticky. Qaabili Palau, the most important is that your rice should be separated from each other very easy. Do not break the rice, and the only reason it will be break if you put too much water. When we put back the rice in the pot, if you guys remember, I add only for that amount of 4 cup of boiled rice, I add an extra 1 cup of soup with the salt, and as you need it, and garam masala, like I said, 2 tablespoons. And here's the way that we're gonna take it out. You're gonna put a little bit of rice at the bottom of the plate. Then you're gonna cut a few bigger chunk of the meat. Oh, the meat is still boiling, and the flavor is so good. The smell is unbelievable. So now I'm covering that few piece of meat that I put at the bottom. I'm covering it with the rice. make sure again that your rice is not sticky. If you're doing it for a first time or something, it's okay, but the best way, if the real Qaabili Palau, the traditional way, is that your rice is not going to stick together, and it's not mushy, and it's not over cooked. Here, look at the color. The color is a golden brown. This is, some people, they call it in their recipes golden rice. uh, don't let it be white, or don't let it be too dark. It should be like golden color. That's the real traditional rice for the Qaabili, golden color. And now I am cutting some of the meat pieces in small pieces, and I'm gonna put them on top of the rice that we take out. So whatever, as much as rice that you want to put in one plate, you go ahead, you do that. Then you're gonna put again with some pieces of meat, and now whatever topping that you made, it's ready, and it's warm. You can warm it the way you want it, and put them on top of the meat and the rice with the raisin, carrots, almond, pistachio, walnut. All of them gonna be together and top of the rice. It looks beautiful and it looks delicious. And believe me, if you are going to try to make a Qaabili Palau in this way, which is a very traditional way, with the same color, the same flavors, same way, it is not a lot of time consuming. Yes, it is gonna takes you 2 days, but it's gonna be beautiful and delicious like this. I'm hoping you guys will be able to make this rice at home. And please, if you make it, leave a comment for me how it was and how it looks. And today, I'm gonna show you guys some of the picture of what I did and how I made them ready. Till my next video. Thank you so much. I let you guys go, and have a very good day. Thank you for watching.